You step into a medieval workshop, the air thick with the scent of resin and smoke, and your fingers brush against a beam that seems impossibly strong, almost impervious to time. Imagine the cold wind rattling the shutters outside, rain dripping through the eaves, and yet the timber beneath your hands is firm, unwarped, untouched by rot or decay. How did craftsmen in an age without chemical preservatives create wood that lasted for centuries, outliving generations, storms and floods? You can almost hear the echo of saws, hammers and whispered secrets passed from master to apprentice, a knowledge deliberately guarded, hidden in the rhythm of work rather than in written records. It wasn't magic or luck. It was observation, experimentation, and an intimate understanding of the natural properties of wood. This medieval curing mix, a blend of resins, oils, and sometimes ashes or clay, transformed ordinary timber into a living shield against decay. Today, as modern treatments fail under environmental stress, these forgotten techniques are quietly resurfacing, admired by artisans, historians, and survivalists alike. To grasp their brilliance, you have to see wood not as a static material, but as something alive, responsive, and capable of enduring centuries when treated with patience, skill, and a touch of ingenious chemistry. The stakes were immense. You weren't just building a house or a bridge, you were securing the safety and livelihood of your community. Wooden roofs protected families and livestock from storms, floors carried generations across bustling halls, and structures withstood the weight of weather and war. Any failure could lead to disaster: a collapsed roof, a rotted support, or a weakened ship in stormy seas. Builders couldn't rely on modern chemicals or synthetic preservatives. Every choice, from tree selection to seasoning, from cutting to treatment, carried life or death consequences. Craftsmen observed how moisture, sunlight, soil, and local climate affected timber, experimenting with mixtures of resins, oils, and plant extracts to slow decay. Knowledge was accumulated over decades, passed orally through apprenticeship, tested in real-world conditions, and refined through trial and error. You can imagine the tension in a workshop. Each beam had to be prepared with care, each log treated to withstand centuries. The medieval curing mix was not random. It was a sophisticated empirical system designed to maximize the longevity of timber. Every detail mattered, and this meticulous attention to material behavior allowed structures to endure when lesser methods failed, leaving a legacy of wood that silently defied time. Here's how it worked. Imagine a craftsman selecting oak, chestnut or elm, examining the grain, density and knots for resilience. The wood was dried slowly, sometimes over years, to reduce moisture without cracking the fibres. Here's the clever part. The timber was then coated with a curing mix, a precise blend of natural resins, animal fats, plant oils, or even a thin layer of clay or ash. Heated carefully, this mixture penetrated deep into the wood, sealing it from moisture, deterring insects and preventing fungal growth. Joints and beams were cut to distribute weight evenly, allowing flexibility while maintaining strength. For structures exposed to water, submerged timbers received extra treatment, often tarred or wrapped in insulating materials. This is where it changes. Instead of imposing artificial resistance, the method enhanced the wood's natural defences, working with biology, chemistry, and environmental cues. Each step, selection, seasoning, curing, placement, interacted with the others, creating a holistic system that maximized durability. Craftsmen didn't just preserve timber, they transformed it, turning ordinary beams into materials that would quietly survive centuries, enduring weather, pests, and human activity with minimal maintenance. The brilliance was subtle, hidden in observation, patience, and careful manipulation rather than in overt technology. Why did this method work so well? Because it aligned with natural laws and material behavior. Slow drying prevented cracking, while resins and oils created breathable barriers against moisture. Minerals from clay or ash subtly altered the wood's chemistry, making it inhospitable to insects and fungi. The clever logic is in synergy. Timber wasn't forced into unnatural rigidity, but allowed to expand and contract naturally while being shielded from the elements. Heat-treated or coated surfaces stored energy and resisted rot, and the internal structure of the wood remained strong, flexible, and resilient. Even beams submerged in water or exposed to wind and rain absorbed the protective benefits of these treatments. Modern analysis shows that timber prepared in this way often outlasts chemically treated wood, particularly in harsh environments. The method demonstrates that longevity isn't about brute preservation. It's about working with the material's inherent properties, enhancing them subtly, and creating a balance between protection, flexibility, and environmental interaction. Observation, incremental testing, and patience allowed medieval craftsmen to achieve durability that still impresses modern engineers. This system was sustainable, elegant, and resilient, proof that centuries-old techniques can rival modern technology when executed with care and understanding. So, why did it disappear? Industrialization promised speed, uniformity, and synthetic chemical preservatives, rendering slow curing methods seemingly obsolete. Craftsmen who had spent years perfecting resin blends and seasoning techniques were replaced by factories producing standardized timber, treated quickly and mechanically. Manuals rarely captured the nuanced timing, environmental sensitivity, or subtle material choices that made the medieval curing mix so effective. Over time, chemical treatments and faster construction became the norm, and centuries of empirical knowledge were sidelined. Ironically, these modern shortcuts often failed sooner than traditionally cured timber. The method didn't fail. It was abandoned in favor of convenience, speed, and mass production. Only in historical reconstruction, restoration work, and niche artisanal projects has this wisdom resurfaced. The secret survived in fragments, in beams of ancient halls, the hulls of old ships, and the writings of meticulous observers who recorded methods in passing. Its disappearance reminds us that progress sometimes overlooks durability, subtlety, and the power of working in harmony with nature rather than against it. This matters today because the lessons of medieval timber curing remain relevant. Slow drying, natural resins, oils, and careful joint design can create structures that last centuries without chemical dependency or energy-intensive treatments. For architects, builders, preppers, and anyone working with wood, this forgotten knowledge teaches patience, observation, and resilience. The principles are adaptable. Passive protection, natural penetration, and thoughtful placement can enhance modern construction, restore historical buildings, or inspire sustainable design. Medieval craftsmen show that durability is not about force, but intelligence, studying material, environment, and treatment in concert. By rediscovering these methods, you can reduce environmental impact, increase structural longevity, and reconnect with centuries-old wisdom that quietly outperforms many modern alternatives. Timber, when cured thoughtfully, becomes more than a building material. It becomes a testament to human ingenuity, patience, and the quiet power of understanding nature. If this story changes how you think about wood, construction or sustainability, explore further, experiment carefully, and carry these lessons into your own projects, proving that old wisdom still has a place in the modern world.